Welcome to our session. Today with JengaLab and our colleague from Malawi, we are going to present a case studies, an activity we have worked with in Malawi, and the session is called The Case of Ulimi Nyengo in Malawi, a revenue model for sustainability planning for SMS-based agricultural information platform. So let's start with the introduction of the participants. So I start with myself. So my name is Elisabetta De Martis, and I am the co-founder of JengaLab, which is the organizer of this panel. And I am a digital for development expert with an experience of around over 10 years in Africa, mainly West Africa. And I worked in particular in the field of agriculture and in several programs, projects and initiatives and strategies, and worked in the implementation of digital solutions and strategies within projects, with a particular focus on entrepreneurial digital ecosystems in agriculture. So now I leave the floor to my colleague Marco and then to our colleague Pile. Please, Marco, introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Elisabetta. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marco Cattaneo, and I am ICT4D Program Officer with JengaLab. I have experience on ICT4D and also economics and social science. Thank you. Over to Pile.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I am Upile Muhariwa. I am the Knowledge Management and Communication Specialist in the Ministry of Agriculture in Malawi. And I'm also working under a project called the Sustainable Agriculture Production Program. Thank you.
Thank you both. So let's start with the content of this session. So we are going to talk, as I mentioned, about an activity that we have supported with the Ministry of Agriculture in Malawi and the IFAD country team. So I'm going to moderate the session, and I'm going to start with the presentation of JengaLab. Next, please. Just to give you a small overview of what JengaLab is doing and what is actually focusing on in the field of agriculture. So first of all, wanted to share a little bit about our approach and activities. So we do a participatory technology design. That means that we co-create and co-design solutions that are centered on real needs and capacity of the users. We try to implement circular design. That means that we try to adapt existing solution and also empowering local ecosystem of startups or service provider, building on the local resources in the countries and ecosystem we work with. We enhance networks and partnerships within stakeholder of a say community, promoting strategic partnership and connection. And we practice, of course, local empowerment in the sense that we try to promote as much as we can local initiatives, ecosystems, and local stakeholders. Next. So I wanted to give you a small overview on the project that JengaLab has been involved in regarding agri-tech. And so the first one is called the Bidding Platform. So this is a project that was funded by the FAO, implemented with an organization that is called Scuola Campesina, which is an organization that promotes agroecology. And we have developed an online platform, which is basically like a forum that is based on open source technology, with the objective of empowering women practicing agroecology to share good practices and information in East Central Asia and East Europe. We have also collaborated with for the implementation of COPEN, which is an open innovation program promoted by two bank foundations in Italy, which we in this project, we have actually supported the implementation of strategic innovative partnership between African and Italian startups and Italian civil society organizations. And those startups were focusing on especially circular economy and sustainable agriculture. And we have helped them also to find, business models and a particular activity they will have been implementing for the CSO. Next. Another project we are currently involved in is the Agritech Observatory. So we are supporting the FAO for the research and analysis and compilation of the observatory, which is online since a month, more or less. And so we are looking for policies, good practices, digital solutions, resources that can actually provide interesting contents and insights for the users that are doing research or looking for data and information on agritech. And finally, we started a new project funded by the European Union, where we are going to provide trainings and capacity building to rural women about digital finance. And we are going to support microcredit institutions to develop or implement or adapt local digital solution to allow rural women to access credit and start small businesses in the field of especially agriculture and food processing. Next. The projects that allowed us to implement the activity we are presenting today is actually the IFAD Digital Advisory Service for Accelerated Rural Transformation Program. So this is a program that is funded by IFAD and that we are developing since 2 years with the Development Gateway and Tech Change. And we are actually providing technical support to 28 countries where IFAD is working. So we are working with the IFAD country teams in these countries and the ministries of agriculture of these countries. And what we are doing I put this in the list because we're doing a lot of things, but these range from doing assessment on digital agriculture, in proposing and implementing digital solutions, doing training and capacity building, and supported also digitalization of M&E processes for the digital programs. Next. Within this project, we are working in several countries, and I just put some example of a country and activities we have worked so far. And for example, in Malawi, which is the case for this session, we provide support for the integration of ICT solution in the IFAD Malawi portfolio. But we'll talk about this for the next hour, so I don't want to talk more about this. Next. And finally, we also wanted to share this interesting digital agriculture resource library, which is an open digital library where we are actually trying to capitalize on the knowledge product that we are producing and developing for the program. And we are transforming it into knowledge management products and tools and toolkit that we put at disposal of a user and the people that are interested to learn more about the project, but also knowing about methodology and toolkit that they can also implement for other projects in other contexts. I think that my part of the presentation is done, and from now on, I'm going to moderate the intervention of the two main speakers of today. So now next, I give you the floor to Marco with the following question. Marco, can you explain how the IFAD team has supported the ICT IFAD Malawi portfolio? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elisabetta. So mainly the IFAD Malawi portfolio includes a number of programs that have integrated ICT4D tools such as mobile application and web-based platforms. And some of these programs include SAPP, Trade, Pharmacy, and Pride, that are the four main general programs of the IFAD Malawi portfolio. IFAD DAS team has supported for 3 months in 2023, with also 2 weeks of in-country consultation, with the scope of specific tailored support for individual program addressing particular needs, and also support the Malawi team portfolio-wide to scale learnings and improve monitoring and evaluation across the different teams. So mainly as JengaLab, we support 2 different programs: the Transforming Agriculture Through Diversification and Entrepreneurship program named Trade, and we support the Smallholder Agribusiness Partnership program named SAPP. For the Trade program, we conduct a deep dive on the agri-tech and the general digital agriculture entrepreneurship space, with the main objective of supporting digital extension services. For SAPP, instead, we map potential partner for sustainability, mainly agricultural institution and organization that are in the needs to adopt digital solution for their farmer networks. Next slide, please, Esme. And so mainly the goal of this session is to provide guidance on revenue model and sustainability possibility plannings for SMS-based agricultural information platforms. While the focus will be primarily on Malawi, since our experience in the country with the IFAD team, the consideration and opportunity could provide starting points for other considering and other project. Next slide. So the methodology of the assessments and of our work in Malawi adopt a mixed method approach to gather quantitative and qualitative data from both primary and secondary data sources. The mission activity mainly after preliminary work, so based on secondary research and literature review. In the country, we conduct ideation workshop, key informants interview with development partner, extension workers, private sector. And also we co-organize focus group with lead and non-lead farmers and extension workers. And then we deep dive with the different project team. Next slide, please. Concern the mission overview. The DAS team in Malawi talked to 111 total farmers in 4 different extension planning areas. 50 male lead farmers, 29 female lead farmers, and 32 non-lead farmers. In addition, we talk with 11 private sector partners, 6 agri-tech providers, 4 development partners, and 8 other stakeholders. This was mainly the overview of the IFAD-DAS team intervention in Malawi. Eli, I will come back, then I come back to you, so Upile can explain more what is the SAPP team. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Thanks for the sum up of what JengaLab has been doing in Malawi to support this program. So now the floor to Pile. Please, can you give us an overview of the SAPP program and the Ulimi Nyengo platform, please? You are mute.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. I'm going to talk about the Ulimi Nyengo ICT platform, as well as the project that we're implementing this app. Next slide, please. So the Sustainable Agriculture Production Program, SAPP, it was an 11-year project, and it was being mainly implemented in 6 districts in Malawi, namely Blantyre, Chilazo, Baraka, Lilongwe, Nkhotakota, and Chitipa. It ended last year in March 2023, and its main objective was to reduce poverty and improve food security among the rural population of Malawi. And the target of the project was about 200,000 household farmers. I'm happy to report that after the phase 1 of the SAPP project, IFAD has approved another 18 million of the Sustainable Agriculture Production Program 2, and it got approved and it has started to be implemented just this March. So it's a new project and it's going to run for another 7 years. Next slide. So the Ulimi Nyengo platform, it's a platform that was developed mainly because the farmer ratio, the farmer extension ratio in Malawi, you know, it's a lot. The recommended farmer extension ratio is 1 extension worker to 750 farmers, but currently 1 extension worker, you know, supports about 3,500 farmers. So you can see that an extension worker is not able to reach out to all the farmers. So this app was developed to support e-extension, like where the extension worker cannot reach out. That's why this app was developed. But also considering the climate change nowadays, mostly farmers, they sometimes find it hard to find specific messages, especially for their agroecological zone. So the Ulimi Nyengo app, you know, targets specific farmers according to where they are coming from. So in terms of the system overview, the Ulimi Nyengo app, it has got the agriculture calendar. This explains, you know, the different type of activities that a farmer is supposed to do throughout the year, depending on where they come from. But it also contains the location, the crops, and as well as the farming activities. But apart from that, it also will give you the weather scenarios. That is, for example, the weather pattern in the specific area where the farmer is coming from. So the farmer, once the farmer registers, they will also register with the location where they're coming from, and tailor-made messages will be sent to them according to where they are coming from. But apart from that, the system also includes advisory messages. For example, general messages like how, for example, the different type of seed that they can plant. For example, maybe if they are planting groundnuts. So it will just also include general advisory services that the farmers might need. Next, please. Next slide. Yes. So the purpose of the system is to automate the dissemination of agriculture and farm messages. So the system, it's a web-based system, and it automatically, generates advisory messages. So these messages are already in the system. They are uploaded, and they are periodically updated with the Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture has a content development committee that looks at all these messages, and these messages are approved by the committee, and they are periodically upgraded. So these messages are also related to climate change and weather, as I earlier explained. Next, please. So the type of messages, one, we have the general messages. So these are messages that will be related to the daily life of farmers. We might also include messages related to their health, their business, as well as their finances, knowing that, we have to deal with all aspects of the farmer, but also the messages are weather-based, like I said, depending on where they are coming from. But also, sometimes the messages can be custom-made. So a farmer can request certain information that might not necessarily be in the platform. So if a message is custom-made, the farmer will be given that kind of message. Next, please. So where do we send these messages? So these messages are sent at the Agriculture Development Division Unit. So this is in the Ministry of Agriculture. We have the headquarters, and the Agriculture Development Unit is where, it's an entry point at for the district. So every ADD, for example, will have maybe about 8 districts. So these messages are targeted at the ADD level. Also target these messages at the extension planning area. So the extension planning area is now, we have entered in the districts where the farmers are located. And within the extension planning area, we will have sections. These are different locations or areas within the extension planning areas. So that is where the messages will be sent. Next, please. And this is just trying to explain some of the information that the platform will have. For example, the app will have crop management, livestock management, advisory message management, and also the weather scenario handling. So this is just to explain some of the features that the app will have. Next slide, please. So in terms of the general overview, we have got the weather scenarios. Those are the different types of scenarios. The weather scenarios, depending on where the farmer is coming from. We also have got the advisory messages, like I've said. But apart from that, we also have got the messages related to the agricultural calendar. So this will include, for example, like the farming activities that the farmer is supposed to follow. For example, if the farmer is maybe supposed to be preparing the land, the farmer is supposed to maybe be applying fertilizer, harvesting. So those are the particular messages that would be related to the agricultural calendar. Next slide. Yeah, so this is a type of agricultural calendar. So this slide was just trying to depict like the type of the agricultural calendar and the type of messages that according to the different months. For example, like you can see in October there, the type of crop will be maize. November, if it is maize, then one is supposed to be purchasing like the inputs. One is also supposed to be planting. And December, just like that. December also, one is supposed to be planting, top dressing, and stuff like that. And January, February, so on. So it can be different crops. That's just maize, but we have rice, it can be groundnuts. So the messages will be sent according to the agriculture calendar. So this was just an example. But also up there, you can see like Kasungu, Lilongwe, and Salima. So those are districts. And the different types of district will have different type of messages because also the weather is different. Next, please. So how do we send these messages? First of all, this is just to explain how we send. You create the location, you add the crop and livestock, and then you add the farmers. We are supposed to add the farmers in the database of the platform, and then we assign crops and livestock to the farmers. And then after that, the message is created. You also add in the weather scenarios of where the farmers are coming from, and then you add the activities according to the agricultural calendar. Next slide, please. So the weather scenarios, for example, that's just an example of how we type the messages. For example, maybe we can say the temperatures in that area are about 100 degrees, and then they will have maybe heavy rainfalls. But also the advisory messages, mostly they are in Chichewa, but also we have some messages in English because sometimes extension workers also, they use them. But mostly farmers in Malawi, they speak Chichewa. So they will be in the local languages so that the farmers can understand. But also the messages are not supposed to be 480 characters, because they'll be sent through the SMS. Next slide, please. Yeah, so in conclusion, I can say that this platform has been rolled out in 7 districts so far. And these are Chikwawa, Chiradzulo, Dedza, Salima, Lilongwe, and Kota. And the app, the application, it currently can accommodate 1 million farmers. And currently we have about 8,000 lead farmers in our database. And there's need to create, of course, an application for the system which the extension workers can use so that maybe they can send messages also through when the application is offline, because currently it's a web-based application. You need internet to access the platform. And also there's need to profile more lead farmers so that the database can grow. Apart from that, the application is being housed in the Ministry of Agriculture in the Department of Extension Services. So for now, there's need to partner with more institutions so that we can reach out to every district in Malawi. But also there's an opportunity to grow this platform through the Sustainable Agriculture Production Program too that I talked about to address some of the issues that I have been talking about. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Upile. That has been very, very interesting, and especially the fact that the Ministry of Agriculture in Malawi decided to own this platform and integrate it within your activities and departments. Because sometimes this is one of main challenge, the information that is collected about weather, for example, or agroclimate information, they stays are institutional level, and rarely they reach the smallholder farmers. So you have decided to undertake a process where you want to capitalize on this information and put this information at disposal of the farmers. So this is already very, very good. And I'm sure there is space of improvement for the solution you already have for the particularities that you have mentioned. So for example, the fact of how having offline as well this information available for the farmers. Maybe we can talk a little bit more at the end of the session. So now we go back to Marco, my colleague of JengaLab, with another question. And the question is, how's the IFAD team, so also JengaLab, supported the SAPP program, specifically supported that Ulimi Nyengo Platform? And if you are going to showcase some use case of business model, the JengaLab has also suggested to the Ministry of Agriculture for implementation and sustainability of this SMS-based platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisabetta. So mainly the IFAD team work with the IFAD SAPP program in Malawi to complete a market scan and sustainability study. The next slide, sorry, excuse me. The scope of work was mainly map potential partners for sustainability, mainly agricultural institution and organization that are in the need to adopt digital solution for their farmer networks. The other scope of work was user journey mapping with the focus on expanding the user base and the database of the Ulimi Nyengo platform. And the third objective was sustainability mapping that develops different scenarios. So mainly the SAPP team, as already mentioned by Upile, provide SMS-based weather alerts and agricultural updates to farmers. Prior to the DAS program, the SAPP team, mainly the DAS, the Digital Agriculture Extension Service under the Ministry of Agriculture, used a technical platform developed by ESOCO to support 78,000 lead farmers across Malawi. But the problem that the ESOCO platform required a license fee and had high SMS transmission cost. For this reason, the DAS ended its use of ESOCO and developed the Ulimi Nyengo platform in 2021. Currently, the system is free for farmers, and mainly the partner during the mission, the system was free for farmers and is still free. And so the partners pay a fee based on the number of SMS messages that they send using the platform. So the objective of the assessments and the sustainability mapping was to identify opportunity to scale the Ulimi Nyengo platform that provide free agricultural information to a target of 200,000 of farmers. Next slide. So then also, as I mentioned, one of the objective of the scope of work was to provide guidance on revenue models and sustainability planning to the SAPP team. Given the Ulimi in the Nyengo functionality and the low number of smartphone users, sustainability planning focus primarily on continued use of existing SMS platform. To grow the Ulimi Nyengo platform, a series of revenue models are explored in the form of use cases. Mainly, the first use cases, the digital agriculture extension service promote the platform within all extension planning area and into all IFAD-funded programs. So in this case, the Ulimi Nyengo platform could be promoted to all APA administration and to all extension workers working into the APA. The extension worker will sign up new farmers or groups of farmers and also identify potential project partners active in their APA to connect them with the platform. So this could be a way to grow the platform and also a way to contribute to sustainability as a larger farmers base has more value for new clients. So, and another option is that the platform could be promoted to other IFAD-funded programs to as well increase the number of farmers. So mainly could be integrate and promote to the pride, farms and trade more than SAPP. The case study 2 is mainly that the client gain access to the platform for their own farmers. So in this case, the Ulimi Nyengo platform could be promoted to other development partners, such as, for example, NGO or other development partner or contract, for example, like our contract farmers who are already work with a group of farmers and with whom they want to communicate via SMS. So in this case scenario, the Ulimi Nyengo provide the platforms for communicating with an existing database roster of farmers. But the messaging and the database will be separate from the DAES efforts. So in this scenario, could be that the clients will pay a package fee based on the total number of SMS messages and that they send. The DICE in this case could provide access to the platform, but the message content is the responsibility of the client. So another case scenario, the use case 3, is which the clients gain access to the platform. And in this case, different from the previous one, the farmers became part of a larger database. So this scenario, the third one, is similar to the scenario 2, in which NGO, for example, and development partner already have a database of farmer, use the platform. So use the Ulimi in the Nyengo to communicate with those farmers via SMS. However, in this scenario, the farmers can opt in to other service on the platform. And DAES will send a new message to new farmers with the option for opting in for other different service. In this case, the client will pay a package fee based on the total number of SMS messages that they send, but can get a discount based on the farmers who will opt in into the larger database. So another additional use case is the use case 4th, where the non-profit clients gain access to the platform and DICE farmer database. So this is a different scenario, is another scenario where NGO development partner or also umbrella association are new in the country or are starting a new project in rural Malawi. In this case, the clients have not yet started with farmer engagement, and in this case can collaborate with the DAES to access their farmer database. In this case scenario, the client will pay an access fee and a fee based on the number of SMS messages in their campaign. So in this case, the campaign will be valuable for both for the DAES in terms of Ulimi Nyengo Platform sustainability, and also for the client, because that means lower cost for development partner, NGO, and umbrella association for farmer engagement. So then we have another use case, the 5th one, related to commercial clients gain access to the platform. So in this case, the DAES could also provide access to the platform for commercial and private sector clients. As in the previous scenario with development partner and NGO, in this case, commercial clients that also want to communicate and advertise, for example, farming inputs, contract farming, or financial service, want to communicate in this case to a target selection of farmers. In this case, the Digital Agricultural Extension Service Department could open the platform to send messages to farmers who opt in to advertising. So mainly in this case, the clients will pay a fee to select farmers on the platform and conduct the advertising campaign. In this case, scenario, this option could serve also company that who want to collect survey data from users using the Ulimi in the Nyengo platform. Another use case is the sixth one, and is related to farmers club, cooperative, and association join the platform. So currently, the platform has a focus on individual farmers profile, ma mainly in Malawi, most farmers are organized into groups, clubs, cooperative, or association. And this group of farmers need to manage and regularly communicate with their members. And in this case, the Ulimi Nyengo platform could add a feature similar to customer relationship management software. So this feature allow groups to manage the membership and communicate with the farmer part of the group and organization. In this scenario, the DAEs could offer this service for free to increase the farmer database, or for a small fee for the SMS messages sent by the farmers group. Then we had the case where the DAEs could provide access to the farmer database to foreign and Malawian university. This is the use case 7. So mainly university in this case would pay an access and SMS fee to communicate with and to select a group of farmers with the scope to participate in research, university research, academic research through SMS or phone-based survey. Then we have the use case 8, where additional services are added to the platform with transaction fees. So currently, when the IFAD team was in Malawi, the platform only offered push SMS advisory services. But mainly the Ulimi Nyengo platform could grow beyond. That could grow beyond that, and to offer access to market and or access to finance via SMS. So, however, in this case scenario, additional investments are needed to mainly integrate and build new services into the platform that can be costly. And so mainly mobile payment architecture can be expensive and can require very different architecture from a technological point of view perspective. So mainly before adding this scenario into a final roadmap, we consider that a serious feasibility study should be conducted. And then we have the last case, the use case 9, the freemium model. In this scenario, farmers are provided free access to the extension platform and a maximum number of SMS messages monthly. So additional, in this case, additional messages will cost a small fee. And this use case scenario, the freemium model, could be combined with additional services. So, for example, pull messages, question to extension specialist, or diagnostic services, each for a small fee. This scenario, however, could be most effective when digital payments are available into the platform. So this is mainly a list of use cases that we summarize, and we end up with our work in Malawi and our support to the SAPP program and to the Ulimi in the Nyengo Platform. Thank you very much, and over to you, Eli.
Thank you, Marco, for this long explanation, but I think that it was worth it because we came across the description of different business model scenarios. So I think that it was useful to take the time and explain them to us. So I think that we are at the end of this presentation, but I think that there are a couple of information that I would like to know from you. But before that, maybe, I don't know, let's see if there are questions from the audience. Otherwise, I can keep on sharing with you my questions. Maybe we can start with Upile, since we heard enough from Marco now, so let's change a bit. So Upile, maybe it would be interesting to share a little bit some background on the experience of the Ministry of Agriculture in Malawi in integrating digital solutions such as this SMS-based platform within your program and projects. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. So the Ministry of Agriculture, Malawi in general, has been doing a lot indeed on digitization. Firstly, I would like to say that the Malawi has an ICT and digitization roadmap, which was developed from 2022, and it's going to be up to 2026. This roadmap was derived from the Malawi Vision 2063. And the objective of this roadmap is so that we can integrate and have an inclusive ICT digital systems for everyone within the country. So you can see that the government obviously is supporting ICT and digitization, you know, at that higher level. And apart from that, the ministry also is doing its own initiatives in terms of digitization. First of all, I would like to talk about the Agriculture Input Subsidy Program. This program has been running, I think, for the past now over 20 years. And at first, it was just being done manually, but now I'm happy and pleased to communicate that the IPE project, it's called the Fertilizer Subsidy Input Program, it's been digitized now. So all the farmers who receive the subsidy fertilizer are digitized now. So all their IDs have been uploaded into the system, and yeah, so that's moving towards digitization. But also we have got the National Agriculture Management Information System, which we are calling the NAMIS. This is where you can find all the information, all the database for the ministry of Agriculture, all the projects. So this NAMIS has been institutionalized now, and all the database, everything that we are talking about, the projects, the data, it can be found on this platform, the NAMIS. So all the projects that are within the Ministry of Agriculture also are linked to the NAMIS. So this is part of the Ministry of Agriculture's efforts in moving towards digitization. But apart from that, the ministry also had several initiatives and several projects. Marco talked about the ISOCO. Before the Ulimi Nyengo platform, we had the ISOCO project. This was a USAID-funded project. It was basically what Ulimi Nyengo is doing, but sending messages, agro-based messages through the ISOCO platform. So it was basically the same thing, but you know, with projects, they come and go. So the ISOCO, once the project finished, it went, and sustainability was kind of so now you see Marco recommending some of the revenue models and sustainability of the Ulimi Nyengo app. So the Ulimi Nyengo app was also an initiative like to have the Ministry of Agriculture for us to own our own app, so that if with or without a project, the app remains and is housed within the Ministry of Agriculture. And yeah, so we have the Ulimi Nyengo app. We had a lot of donors also, the UNDP. It supported even in the development of the Ulimi Nyengo app at the beginning, and IFAD also in Malawi under the SAPP project supported it. Apart from that, we also had different initiatives, like some by the Self-Help Africa. We were working with the local mobile companies, Airtel, and it was a project called 321, where farmers could dial 321 and they could request messages, for example, on different crops for maize. This was like voice messages. So voice messages were recorded on the mobile app, and depending on the messages that the farmers are looking for, they could get it. But also messages were developed and sent out to farmers. I think for now, I can stop there in terms of the different initiatives that the Ministry of Agriculture is doing as we move towards digitization. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to Pile, and I have so we have 2 minutes left. I have another question for Pile and one for Marco. So maybe Pile, if you can provide a small answer, just to give some information about my next question. I wanted to know if you can share some challenges and limitations that Malawian farmer has experience in adopting this digital solution that you have mentioned within project you have implemented within the Ministry of Agriculture. And then I have a last question for Marco. And the questions for Marco is what could be, based on the experience of the IFAD assessments that you have shared for this presentation, the best scenario of use case for business model of the Ulimi Nyengo SMS-based platform. Please, Pile, can you answer to my question, and then we give the floor to Marco for the last insights. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Elisabetta. I'll try to answer it within a minute. So there are so many challenges in terms of adoption of digital services, especially in Africa. Number one, I would say is the literacy levels. Most farmers in Malawi are illiterate. They do not know how to read and write. So obviously, to operate digital services, you have to have some sort of literacy. So that's number one. Number two is the issue of electricity. Most our farmers live in the rural, so you'll find that there is no electricity. So for you to use digital services, you have to have electricity. Number three is the internet connectivity. You still find that it's internet electricity. I mean, internet connectivity is in some parts, maybe it will not be, the network will not be available. So yeah, that's another challenge. And the last challenge, I would say, digital platforms are expensive to to maintain. One, for the client as Ministry of Agriculture, to maintain it, to buy the SMSs, to hoist the platform is expensive, but also it is expensive for the farmer, because one, you need to have the mobile app application itself, and two, sometimes the farmer needs to have some, in some cases, to buy airtime to access the platform. So those are the four challenges that I would talk about in terms of the farmer accessing digital solutions in implementing in Malawi. Thank you.
Thank you, Pile. Thanks a lot for sharing your very important experience on the ground. Please, Marco.
So the question is on the what's the best cases? What's the question? Sorry.
Yeah, the question was if you can, based on the experience that you have shared of JengaLab and the DAS team working in Malawi to support the SAPP program of the Ministry of Agriculture, if you can share the best scenarios of use case for a sustainable business model for the Ulimi Nyengo platform.
Okay, thank you, Eli. So mainly in most cases, a partnership approach is the best scenario, which is normal in general for commercial tech companies, but is not necessarily the core to the DAS operation. So mainly with a partnership approach, the Digital Agriculture Extension Service could own the platform and but collaborate in the form of a public-private partnership with an organization who mainly could advertise and sell to new clients, business users, mainly based on value proposition. Then another option, the organization can support clients in their onboarding and then support clients in designing and delivering SMS campaign. So, but during the in-country consultation and during the IFAD supports, so because mainly collaborating with private sector clients will require a larger database of farmers, and the current 78,000 then so mainly to work with private sector will require a larger database that will be and should be definitely more than the 78,000 farmers that currently are using the Ulimi Nyengo platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you. So I think that we are done with our session. Thanks for the panelists taking the time and share this experience with the public. And we hope that this is helpful for someone and also giving some idea and inspiration for similar projects in other countries as well. So thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good evening to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.